By 2014, Nigeria's stability was shattered. Foreign meddling, including US involvement, played a pivotal role in the 2015 election, enabling regime change that emboldened actors who ignored or enabled extremist violence. High-placed eyewitness testimony confirms this interference, with firms like Cambridge Analytica further skewing the political landscape. Radical jihadist elements fueled by foreign fighters from Libya and Sahel, post-2011 Arab Spring, many who say were invited, not invaded at that stage, flooded into Nigeria, amplifying Boko Haram and ISWAP. Today, over 4 million Nigerians are displaced, a very conservative estimate. That's based on, in part on my work in hidden camps, and officials who label these IDPs officially as criminals or vagrants. I'm going to pause there for 1 second to make this point, because it's very clear that Nigerians understand this. We did a groundbreaking for a school at an IDP camp 2 years ago, and several journalists came and wrote articles about it. And my remarks were, and the whole purpose of this, what we do is we build camps in schools and IDP camps, and that was the whole purpose of this. The news report said that we build schools in rural communities, took out the whole idea of IDPs. If reality, if truth is the only way for unity, and truth is the only thing sustainable, the Nigerian media, at least the ones in my experience, I don't know where they get off changing my words to sterilize it. But if you work for a paper and you're guilty of that, you're not a journalist, you're a propagandist, and it's for shame. Your job is to speak the truth. Nigeria cannot heal, it cannot advance, it cannot succeed if the people of this country rely on your words to understand the truth and you're lying to them. Sorry, we got a little bit off track, but that's reality, okay? This is too important. Don't change my words. The vast majority of the IDPs are Christians, driven from their homes by deliberate political engineering and radical conquest, while mostly Muslim IDP camps do exist. One of our schools serves an entirely Muslim population, several hundred children. Our team's fieldwork. Since 2019, our team has conducted relentless frontline research at great personal risk. We've interviewed survivors across multiple states. We've operated schools in 2 IDP camps for both Christians and Muslims, with a 3rd under construction, with a present total of 550 students. We provide free, high-quality education, and we get to hear their stories and their parents' stories. Firsthand eyewitnesses. We filmed camps the UN and Nigerian government deny exist. I could take you to them. We recorded numerous IDP testimonials. We have, in fact, a YouTube channel, My Voice Matters, with first-hand eyewitness testimonials. In late 2024, my team visited and filmed in Ngoshe, in Gwoza, LGA, Borno State, a once thriving Christian farming community, now a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Recent 2025 attacks confirm ongoing devastation, with surviving Christians combined to militarized zones where leaving risks abduction or execution. Another aside, I wasn't, of course, able to go there, but the team that did connected with a small group there that have a small church that's in the protected zone. And it was not long afterwards we got sent roundabout a Boko Haram video with members of this church having their heads cut off with dull axes. Okay? Those were our friends. Our first-hand proof exposes a reality ignored by officials. Many people of Gwoza have been refugees in Cameroon for over a decade, abandoned by Nigeria, while those who return languish in the FCT, their homelands occupied by Boko Haram as the seat of its caliphate for years now. Consistent pattern of destruction. Across regions and years, we've documented a chilling pattern. Churches destroyed. In Gwoza, when they came in, and in Ngoshe, all 6 churches were burned, no mosques were burned. Christian homes torched, jihadists resettled and captured lands. Authorities deny or excuse the attacks. While some Muslims resisting extremism are targeted, absolutely. The peaceful Muslims are targeted. The overwhelming evidence, thousands of churches raised, obviously selective violence, leads some to claim this is a faith-based genocide against Christians and those rejecting radical Islam. That's what some claim. What drives this violence? This has come from the highest level and the deepest research. And there's three primary drivers. It's not chaos, but it's calculated. One, radical, I think we all would refute and repudiate, but radical Islamic conquest. Armed groups, bolstered by foreign fighters from Libya, Sahel, post-Arab Spring, seek to impose extremist ideology with local enablers and political protection described by eyewitnesses as jihad by occupation. Blood mineral extraction. A former president is the one that pointed me in this direction. Nigeria, according to the government's estimates, which in my humble opinion are probably way low, Nigeria loses $9 billion annually to illicit mining of gold, tin, and lithium. Oftentimes these communities that are wiped out, you go back not long after and there's mounds of dirt from strip mining. $9 billion a year. And again, the government's estimates, with a significant portion estimated to be 10% funding violence and corruption. That's $900 million a year, at least, that's funding the violence and corruption that does this. That needs to be investigated. Heavy machinery and foreign buyers appear days after displacements, exploiting lands of the displaced. Politically realignment, war in some cases, and again, let me say this, I'm not pointing fingers, I'm not saying just because an official here does it that's an indictment of the entire government. But war often masquerades as politics. Local government areas overrun, electoral districts redrawn by force, militants resettled, and each given 4 abducted wives to skew demographics, dismantling communities deemed inconvenient. This is fully documented. It shouldn't be debated. I'm just going to go where the facts led me. There's a euphemism of farmer-herder clashes. Yes, those have happened for generations. The term farmer-herder clashes is, in many instances today, is cynical doublespeak, weaponizing historical land disputes to mask jihadist conquest. For centuries, herders and farmers coexisted with very rarely lethal disputes. Now, villages are systematically razed, churches leveled, and tens of thousands are dead. This is a systematic terror and not grazing conflicts. A lie akin to calling Bosnia's ethnic cleansing a neighborhood spect. These targeted deadly attacks are the same whether labeled herders, bandits, or insurgents. The puppets may change, but the same forces pull the strings. A jihadi by any other name is just as deadly. Mincing words over labels appears to be intentional obfuscation. Now, at what level the people just say, that's what I was told, that's what was reported, and honest people can repeat things that are not true. Again, not indicting anybody, but in many of these instances, I would, if you're told it's a farmer-herder clash, I would compel you to dig deeper. While global attention often focuses on Boko Haram and ISWAP, the majority of killings and displacements across the Middle Belt are in fact carried out by radical Islamist Fulani ethnic militia. Numerous field reports, satellite imagery, survivor testimonies confirm that these militant groups, often operating under political protection and mislabeled as herders, are responsible for the most widespread, systematic, and sustained attacks on Christian farming communities. Their campaigns extend well beyond traditional grazing disputes, encompassing organized massacres, forced displacement, and the strategic occupation of conquered lands. Today, these militias represent the single most lethal terrorist threat in Nigeria's internal stability, surpassing Boko Haram and ISWAP combined in reach, frequency, and civilian death toll. The crime of obfuscation. I have personally seen ongoing efforts by officials and their loyal media to bury the truth, sanitizing massacres as conflict, labeling displaced survivors, vagrants, and criminals, refusing to name perpetrators. This is not confusion, it is complicity. To play semantic games while people die is beyond obscene. There can be no solution while leaders play word games to hide the truth. And again, I'm not saying that everybody that repeats these things are doing it intentionally whatsoever, but at some level, there is a lot of manipulation taking place to hide the truth. So let's get to the conclusion, because this is where it's important, because there is a legal definition of genocide. That's the question here. And it's not a vague thing. You don't want it to be or not to be. And I did not start with my conclusion. I started with the evidence. Per Article 2 of the UN Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in 1948, genocide includes acts committed with intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. It includes killing members of the group, causing seriously bodily or mental harm, inflicting conditions to bring about physical destruction, preventing births within the group, forcibly transferring children to another group. This is the legal, international, understanding definition of genocide. The evidence is undeniable: targeted killings, mass displacement, destruction of homes and churches, denial of aid, and erasure of Christian identity. My conclusion, my formal findings: an objective expert and eyewitness, a longtime lover and traveler throughout Nigeria with access at the highest levels, based on more than 5 years of investigation, field interviews, first-hand documentation, and deep consultation with top scholars, statesmen, and legal experts, and I'm happy to introduce you to all of that. And this document has more than 15 citations. I declare this without any shadow of a doubt. The campaign of violence and displacement in northern and middle belt Nigeria does indeed constitute a calculated, current, and long-running genocide against Christian communities and other religious minorities without any reasonable doubt. To continue to deny this is to be complicit with these atrocities. I say this not in anger, but in truth and grief. My stated assignment from my host was to speak the truth, and I have done that to the best of my ability. I believe Nigeria has a bright future. I believe in Christian-Muslim harmony. I believe good people of every tribe and faith and party must stand against this evil, but first we must name it. Here I stand. I can do no other, so help me God.